we have been discussing about the structure of skeletal muscles. So like you can see here, the portion of myofibril between the two successive Z lines is considered as the functional unit of contraction, and this is known as sarcomere. So that's what we understand about sarcomere. Okay, so it is just between two consecutive Z lines. That is the distance. So definitely sarcomere are also the contractile units of myofibrils. Myofibrils, which make up the muscle fiber as a whole, are having sarcomere acting as its functional unit for contraction. And definitely by contraction of these only, body movement and locomotion will take place. So here we are getting an interesting question, that is, what is a sarcomere? Is it the part between two H lines, the part between two A lines, the part between two I bands, or part between two Z lines? Just try to recall what we have discussed a little earlier in this chapter. I think you have come up with the answer. Yes, and that is, my child, part between two Z lines. The part between two consecutive Z lines is the functional unit of contraction for the skeletal muscles, and that is what we call as sarcomere. Let's understand more about the skeletal muscle structure and its mode of contraction. So, in a resting state, the edges of thin filaments on either side of the thick filaments partially overlap on free ends of the thick filaments, leaving the central part of thick filaments. So here you can clearly understand that at the resting state or relaxed state, the central part is moreover left. The central part of the thick filament is not being covered by the actin. This is what happened at the resting state or relaxed state. Thereafter, the central part of thick filament, which is not overlapped by thin filament, is called H band or H zone. So here on the diagram you can clearly understand the H zone, that is little bit of exposed. Yes, that is little bit of exposed at the resting state. Whereas on either side it is not covered by the thin filaments. It is not overlapped by the thin filaments. So here let's understand another interesting question. It is based on the concept which we have discussed little earlier. The H zone in skeletal muscle fiber is due to which of the following? The first option, the central gap between myosin filaments in the A band, the gap between actin filaments extending through myosin filaments in the A band, the extension of myosin filaments in the central portion of the A band, and the absence of myofibril in the central portion of A band. Let me just help you recall the things completely. So here you can observe the A band here. This is the A band. These are two consecutive Z lines, Z line number 1 and definitely Z line number 2 here. Alright. So in between the two Z lines we are getting our sarcomere, on which we are understanding. So actin is not fully continuous. The H zone clearly indicate the middle or central portion of myosin in the A band where actin is not fully continuous. So I think you are supposed to get the right answer. And yes, that is the gap between actin filaments extending through myosin filaments in the A band. That has to be the correct answer.